Hello YouTubers and fellow Whovians, and welcome to my DVD review of Doctor Who, The 10th Planet, which stars William Hartnell for the final time as the first Doctor, regularly. And this is, of course, the first ever story to feature the Cybermen. Now, if you're unfamiliar with my DVD reviews, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at the presentation of this DVD, and I'm going to take a look at the special features which are stated on the back of this box, and we're going to take a little peek inside, and just to finish off, I'm going to round off my thoughts on this DVD release as a whole, and I shall be giving you my brief thoughts on the story itself. So without further ado, let's actually take a look at this box art, and what a brilliant front cover this is. Now, this DVD was released in 2013 in Doctor Who's 50th anniversary year. It was released around the same time as when the celebrations were taking place. Doctor Who was all over the place at this point. It was very hyped up at the time because of the Day of the Doctor. So I think to release this at that time was a very smart move by the distributors of this DVD. On the front cover we have the first Doctor, William Hartnell, and it's like he's inside some sort of bubble. And you can see just behind him as well are the roundels of the TARDIS. I'm really happy that they made him a big part of the front cover, seeing as this is the final time that we'll get to see him before he briefly returns in the Three Doctors a few years later. But of course, taking centre stage on this are the Cybermen, the Mondasian, or Mondasian, however you want to pronounce them, Cybermen, which are of course returning to Doctor Who later on this year. So this is a perfect time to review this DVD. And there's quite a few of them there. You've got the planet Earth, and you've got the planet Mondaz on there as well. And you've got a white background, which I suppose represents the snowy landscape, which you see quite a lot in this story, and what this story is very famous for. This is a 2-disc set, it is a PG, and as it is a William Hartnell story, it says just at the bottom there, the William Hartnell years 1963 to 1966, with this story of course being broadcast in 1966. If we take a look at the spine, it just says there, the 10th Planet. This of course was released in 2013, so it does have the reversible cover. I have since reversed it, and the BBC logo here is black, because if they did it white then you wouldn't be able to see it because of the colour of the spine. So it's a good job they did that, really, just to let us know it is the BBC and not something else like HBO or something like that. And this story was written by Kit Pedler and Jerry Davies, and again we've got some screen grabs from the story as well. The TARDIS lands at the South Pole in 1986. The arrival coincides with the appearance of Earth's forgotten twin planet, Mondaz, along with visitors from that world, the emotionless Cybermen. It's up to the Doctor and his friends to stop the creatures before they convert Earth's population into similar cyber creations. But the encounter will have a devastating effect on the Doctor. And it says in bold just beneath this synopsis that this DVD release contains a brand new animated episode 4, which is currently missing from the BBC archives, and that is still very much the case, which is very sad. This is without doubt one of the most wanted episodes to be found, because it is the final story to feature the first Doctor. It's the final episode to feature him, and it's the first ever time we get a regeneration. Thankfully though, the footage of the actual regeneration survives, as it was aired on Blue Peter, I believe, a few years later, so that's good. that they did that, otherwise we would not know what the look of the regeneration was, and it is one of the most iconic parts in all of Doctor Who's history. We have quite a few special features on this, seeing as it is 2 discs and it's only 4 episodes long. Commentary with actors Anneke Wills, who played Polly, Christopher Matthews, who played the radar technician, Earl Cameron, who played Williams, Alan White, who played Schultz, and Donald van der Matten, who played Cybermen, Shav and Gurn, Christopher Dunham, the R&T technician, and designer Peter Kindred, and this is all moderated by Toby Haddock, as per usual with many of the commentaries. Frozen Out, the cast and crew look back on the making of this story. We have the episode 4 VHS reconstruction, so if you're not a fan of the animation, then you have that option. We have the William Hartnell interview, which started doing its rounds on the internet in the same years when this was released on DVD. And we have Doctor Who Stories, Anneke Wills. We have the Golden Age, Boys, 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 Peter Purvis, Fraser Hines and Mark Strickson reminisce about their time as companions, and they are, of course, some of the male companions from the classic series, with Fraser Hines being with the 2nd Doctor, Mark Strickson being with the 5th Doctor, and Peter Purvis being with the 1st Doctor just a few stories before this one takes place. We have Companion Piece, Blue Peter, 10th anniversary retrospective of Doctor Who's history, and that is, I believe, the episode which featured the clip of the regeneration, what I mentioned a bit earlier. And we have Radio Times listings, program subtitles, production information subtitles, photo gallery, a coming soon trailer, and a digitally remastered picture and sound quality. The original broadcast dates for this were between 8th and 29th of October 1966. It was produced by Innes Lloyd and directed by Derek Martinus. And the sleeve text is by Maury Liang. The cover is by Lee Binding. Take a look inside. You have a little bit more information about the making of the story. And inside you've got more stuff about the special features, and you've got your scene selection and all that. And there is disc 1, so you have the 1st Doctor and the Cyberman. And if you look at disc 2, you've got more of those fantastic Mondasian Cybermen there. So overall, great DVD release. This DVD release I wanted for quite a long time, and this, considering this is quite a milestone story in a lot of ways, because it's the first regeneration story as well as the first ever story to feature the Cybermen, it took them ages to release this on DVD, bearing in mind that the Doctor Who DVD line started back in 1999. This was released in 2013, so if you look at it that way, it's not that long ago when it was released, and it currently is one of the last releases in the line, because they've run out of stories to release unless they animate them. The only stories that haven't been released are a few Hartnell and Troughtons, which have been affected by missing episodes. This is one of those stories that has a missing episode, and it is episode 4, which is the most vital episode out of the whole lot, arguably. But if you look at the story as a whole, it is a fantastic story. I wouldn't say it's the best story in the world. It's certainly not my favourite William Hartnell story. There are other stories that came out earlier than this, which I consider to be better, but for what it is, it's a good sort of final story to round off the First Doctor's era. We started getting the base Under Siege stories, which you would see a lot later, more popular with Patrick Troughton's Doctor, because his Doctor and those stories, it was more associated with his Doctor, basically, all those based on the Siege stories, and the Cybermen appeared quite a lot more in his era after their appearance in this story. But as for the animation in episode 4, I don't think it is the greatest animation, I'll be honest with you. It could be better. I believe that the best animation that has ever been done for these type of releases is for the Moonbase, which also happens to be a Cyberman story, and that stars Patrick Troughton as a second Doctor. I feel that the animation in that is more or less perfect. It's either that story or the animation in The Invasion, even though it's been over 10 years since that was animated. I still think the animation in that is very good. I also have to give a shout out to The Power of the Daleks, even though I don't think that has the best animation. The Power of the Daleks, it does have good animation, considering as that entire story has been animated from scratch, as all episodes have been lost, which is just absolutely devastating. But here we only have one episode that needs to be animated, and it's episode 4. I would like to see episode 4 found one day, simply because of what it is. If it was anything else, then I wouldn't be that particularly bothered. Same goes for The Power of the Daleks, but I'm glad with what we've got right now in terms of the animation. The animation in The Power of the Daleks I am very satisfied with, and that story as a whole is an absolutely fantastic story. I highly recommend you go and pick up that DVD now. It's been out for a few months. The 10th Planet, it's a good final story for the First Doctor. If you're a big fan of the First Doctor, then definitely buy this DVD. There's some very good special features on this DVD, including the documentary about the making of this, and the interview with the man himself, William Hartnell. And, of course, if you're a big fan of the Cybermen, then this is a must, because this is the first time we ever got to see them. Plus, as these type of Cybermen are returning in the coming series, I think it's a great opportunity for fans to revisit this just before they make their long-awaited return. So that's my thoughts on this DVD release for the 10th Planet. I personally would definitely get this for what it is, even though I don't think it is the greatest story ever made. It's a very good story though. I really like the story. The Cybermen are very good in this. The main cast are very good in this. William Hartnell gives a terrific final performance before his regeneration. There's nothing not to like about this story. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on this. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel, and also check out some more DVD reviews that I've been doing for the last few years. Take care, guys, and I shall see you next time.